This is Sybert signing into Tiberium Wars on the map Tournament Arena. In the top left-hand corner, this is the cyan nod, Lumos. In the bottom right-hand corner as the red nod, this is BikeRushOwnz. This is a best of 5. Ooh, a little bit of a shadow team rush coming out from BikeRushOwnz. This is a best of 5 from the recent For the Brotherhood 10 tournament, or For the Brotherhood X, if you like, tournament from Edvin. Well, organized by Edvin, run over on Game Replays, and a bunch of people showed up, which was good to see. More than like 4 or 5 people, and it was nice to see a little bit of a tournament going on. And Bike Rush hit me up on Discord, and he was like, hey, the semis and the finals you should check out instead of just the finals. So we are actually going to cover the semis and the finals, which not every tournament, regardless of the game, is actually worth checking out, both the semis and the finals. The shadow teams have been found out. Now there is one in the north that doesn't have enough firepower to take down a power plant by itself. But they're actually going to be able to make it back to not this bunker. They decided to turn around at the last second there. But at any rate, dual war factory going to be coming up here for Lumos. Drops a second power plant and sells the MCV. So Bike Rush needs to find out about this immediately. He needs to realize this immediately. And again, these power plants now become so important. These shadow teams have an opportunity to totally lock down the production of Lumos, and at the same time, Lumos needs to get his game on. He needs to start moving towards harvester kills, towards, oh, actually, the engineer gets sniped, in a late engineer like that, maybe tipping off to Bike Rush exactly what he needs. He does drop his MCV. He packed it up for a second there, but he does drop it. Now, we do have harvesters going to be needing to get pulled back. They're going to be heading towards that war factory. A little bit of splash damage on that Scorpion tank. A little bit unfortunate there for Bike Rush that he took that, but Lumos cleaning up the Scorpion tank and a harvester. A good start, but he needs so much more than that. But with 2 laser turrets here, it's going to be hard to get real value out of these units, especially when the clock is ticking. Every moment that goes on is better for Bike Rush. No, he sells his MCV as well, so now they're kind of in similar positions, as there is going to be 2 war factories on the side of Lumos, but only 1 on the side of Bike Rush, as Bike Rush is desperately trying to pump out Scorpion tanks, desperately cycling his harvesters around his war factory, but the attack has been pulled back, and it looks like the power plants did go down. The shadow teams will be hunted, but Lumos' production is now crap. And for having 2 war factories, he basically has the same production as Bike Rush with just the 1 war factory. Drops a harvester. Bike Rush that confident that the attack is not coming back in. He knows he's got Lumos on the ropes here, that he can draft another harvester before going, I assume, into more Scorpions out of his war factory. The power plant's becoming so important in an all-in situation, and it looks like Lumos may be strapped for cash there, as not being able to pump out as many bikes and buggies as he would like. And eventually, these shadow teams will go down. So I don't remember what I was saying before that attack worked in, but yeah, we're going to be checking out semis and finals, and we're going to be seeing who of the shocks on the other side of the tournament. The other semifinal is Shock Trepet versus Shocktopus, aka Shock Treatment. So, Trepet Treatment, we're going to have fun with that one. And once again, thanks to Edvin for organizing this. And I thought Bike Rush sold his MCV. Apparently he believes in second chances, making a little bit of a wall there with his power plants as well. Looks like he dropped a shredder turret, so he's keeping these 2 laser turrets at least for now. He may want to sell those at some point, but for now he's keeping the static D, and it is going to be up to the blue fields, of course, fully developed blue fields in this game. And ooh, look at that, Lumos getting his own con yard back up and running. Now Bike Rush has spotted this immediately. He sees what's going on. 2 scouts here keeping an eye on Lumos, and it's going to be a double power plant drop before the MCV moves, because that's what he needs to get his power back online, to get his production back online. BikeRush going to be drafting a couple of rocket squads to send them into the bunker. A good safety move. He really should clean out that bunker, although really it would be nice to clean it out with a Black Hand squad, so then he could put more rockets in there, or even just one rocket in there, just to protect the south side of this field. Scorpion Tank's going to be moving on down south, and now that BikeRush has bought himself enough time, now that the craziness of an MCV cell all in, which is now going to be a weird transition into a regular two-base economy, kind of. Now that all of that is over, BikeRush has bought himself enough time to stabilize, and he's no longer totally worried about everything going wrong and about, like, one single moment deciding this game. It's going to be a little bit of a longer tank battle in this match, as both of these guys have not quite the same level of impressive Scorpion Tank armies, but they are both building impressive Scorpion Tank armies. Another laser turret does go down here. BikeRush going to be able to push Lumos back, is going to be able to establish his economy up here. Could go for a refinery over here or a second one up here. Either way, it's good income as long as you've got 3 harvesters or so on that blue tib. You're going to be able to harvest it pretty darn quickly. And that was a war factory going down, so this is actually going to be 3 war factories. All of these power plants up here pretty vulnerable. Not a lot down here, where the new main base is going to be kind of established for Lumos, which of course means that his production could be set back once again if those power plants are found to be vulnerable by BikeRushOwnz. Once again, Scorpion's going to be moving in for Lumos. A second laser turret does get dropped down. Going to be buying time for BikeRush to try and pull his defensive force down there, and it's going to be a second refinery in the north on that blue field, so nothing on the green just yet. Drops his own war factory, but that is just 2 war factories to the 3 of Lumos, so BikeRush may end up getting out-competed in the production side, but that does not always mean that Lumos, just with more tanks, will end up winning. As we can see, BikeRush is mixing in rocket squads into his army, and, well, not currently producing anything. If he drops, if he keeps those rocket squad production up, then he could definitely swing things into his favor with fewer tanks, but the same damage output. And one buggy going to be heading in for BikeRushOwnz, so he's going to be getting a look at exactly what's going on. Still sees just that one refinery. Does spot the operations center and an air tower as well, so... Oh, air tower for the mine drop directly on top of the Scorpion Tank army, but it completely missed, so an unfortunate thing there. Looks like it was a holographic army pulled in here for Lumos, so this many Scorpion Tanks are not actually this many Scorpion Tanks, but they will absorb a couple of shots there from the army of BikeRushOwnz. Another Hand of Nod now on the front line, again producing constantly from the war factory. Scorpion Tanks, and not quite constantly from the Hand of Nod, but semi-constantly from the Hand of Nod. Rocket squads, and all of the mines do get cleaned up, so that air tower, wherever it was, Tech Lab on the way, and actually sells off the operations center as well, gets himself a Black Hand squad out of it. So the air tower will not be used for vertigos or venoms or anything like that, despite the fact that this army doesn't shoot up very well. A couple of rocket squads here, but upgrades going to be on the way. I assume laser capacitors and dozer blades will be the name of the game, although it might just be laser capacitors alone, no dozer blades. Could be the choice for Lumos. A little bit of a reverse move mistake there, as that one Scorpion Tank did not get the orders that all of his friends got. BikeRush going to be pushing in a huge column of Scorpion Tanks. Rocket squads mixed in as well. They've got the Confessor upgrade, they've got the Tib Infusion upgrade, and it is going to be dozer blades right out of the gate. And even a Tib Vapor Bomb going to be coming in here for Lumos. Doesn't hit a whole lot here, but a couple of more tanks do go down for BikeRush, and Lumos, with the superior numbers, starting to move in for the kill on this army. BikeRush going to have to reverse move on out of there, and Lumos actually also does pull back, even though he was trying to press forward his advantage. Once again, BikeRush now on the front door of Lumos, but does he actually have the strength to push forward and take the kill? I don't know that he actually has enough here to get the kill. Oh, it looks like on the back end it was a Tib Catalyst missile, but Bike Buggy is going to be the follow-up. Going for the kill on the blue harvesters is Lumos, and the infantry have been left here as a sacrifice of time to try and buy some time for BikeRush as he pulls back his Scorpion Tank army to deal with this Bike Buggy. He already lost 2 refineries on the front line rebuilds one of them so he can try and get his harvesters back to work, and those rocket squads inside of that bunker ended up being so useful as they got the last couple of shots there on some of those units. A couple of Black Hand squads right on the front line. No, he wasn't from the sell-off of the tech lab, although he does now have laser capacitors here for his Scorpion tanks. So the superior Scorpion tanks for Lumos, and it's been superior production for the majority of the game, but now going to be selling off that War Factory, maybe a little bit strapped for cash, as Noe's drafted a second War Factory in the south, so he's replaced that production here on the front lines. BikeRush dropping a second refinery in the north, another hand of Nod, but he himself is strapped for cash. His production haltering a little bit there, a little bit of faltering in his production line. It's not 100%. Scorpion tank's going to be reverse moving potentially into their opponent's fire, as this is a big play from Lumos. Once again, a mine drop coming in right into the middle of the Tib field, and even a Venom going to be joining the fray as BikeRush pulls back his unupgraded, underpowered Scorpion tanks. No match for the raw numbers of Lumos, as Lumos marches further and further into BikeRush's territory. Killing the harvesters would also be a good idea, as BikeRush is trying to pull his Scorpion tanks around his buildings to get best use of a funnel, but also use of those repair drones, and it's going to be marching all over those rocket squads, trying to even the odds, as these harvesters do get hunted by Lumos. And now, having killed the harvesters, having crushed the infantry, he is going to back on out, and BikeRushOwnz will lose game number 1. Lumos pulling it together in an impressive game that started out with an MCV cell all in and then transitioned into a regular tank spam fest like most Tib Wars games, but he held it together, and that unit kill to death ratio helps tell the tale of why Lumos was able to pull ahead in that match. But of course, the upgrades on his Scorpion tanks giving him the extra power to punch through BikeRush's army. Not a total defeat there, but BikeRush was not in a situation where he wanted to play it out any further. He wanted to go on to the next match, and so we will go on to game number 2 in this best of 5 series, which takes us to Small Town, USA. In the top right-hand corner as the Cyan Nod, this is Lumos. In the bottom left-hand corner as the Red Nod, this is BikeRushOwnz. Into game number 2, into Small Town, USA. And of course, with the way the lanes work on this map, you got one attack path here in the south, one in the north, and if you grab one of these structures, then you have pretty good vision. I mean, in theory, you have vision of 66% of the attack paths on this map, but of course, lots of action can come through the middle. Lots of garrisonable structures. First bike going to be coming out for Lumos, and there's a buggy going to be the follow-up, but of course, we always have to keep an eye on that guy. The fact that BikeRush hasn't sold off his Hand of Nod is significant. It's going to be a second refinery, so it's not an MCV cell, but BikeRush was worried about it. Drops his power plant a little bit far away, which again could be vulnerable, but I'm guessing he's not too worried about it. He's got not great vision, but decent vision, and here's the buggy scout from BikeRush, where he's going to confirm that his fears have been allayed. He is not too worried about anything. Second War Factory goes down. And I don't think it's going to be a double refinery. This would be a weird MCV cell this late in the game. He does drop the extra power plant. And I think Lumos is just going to be going standard. He's got me a little bit on edge, but man, look at the split on those refineries. Absolutely massive split on those refineries from Lumos. Not quite as big from BikeRushOwnz, but Lumos really wants to make sure that in a Nod mirror that there is no Tib Catalyst missile action going to be able to happen. There is nothing that's going to be able to take him by surprise. Sells off the Hand of Nod. BikeRush doesn't want to keep that around for too much longer. And a third? What are you doing, Lumos? A third War Factory, but in the back of his base in a hidden position, and then he packs up his MCV. Is he going to unpack it and then sell it off? He's trying to do something sneaky. I guess he's identified on the left side of this map there's no garrison. There's no eyes for Bike Rush, and he's kind of been keeping tabs on the stuff in the middle of the map. But actually, that's going to be a Hand of Nod, or a Black Hand Squad. So actually, it was an Operations Center cell from Bike Rush. It's into avatars for him. And, there's your MCV. Lumos, I was getting really worried. No MCV on the map, and I was starting to get curious what exactly he's doing. So it's just 3 War Factory. It's actually nothing too bizarre, all things considered. That War Factory way back there is a little bit strange, but he really does not want it to get scouted. That structure will be taken down relatively quickly just by all of the fire, and catches 3 harvesters with that Tib Catalyst missile. An incredible value. You split the refineries, but guess what? Didn't matter. The harvesters weren't split. There are 2 harvesters on this field over here. They're being kept hidden. They're being kept secret away from Bike Rush, but that was an incredible Tib Catalyst missile for Bike Rush. Incredible value of that Tib Catalyst missile, catching the refinery and 3 harvesters. Not something you see very often. And scouting with a Black Hand Squad, also not something you see very often. Keep in mind the War Factory was sold off for Lumos, so he doesn't have that going for him anymore. Going to be rebuilding one of those harvesters. And is Bike Rush really just going to try and slow flame down some of these buildings? Because that would be kind of amazing if that was actually his plan. 2 refineries in the north for Lumos. They're not split quite as far, but as we can see, Bike Rush doesn't care about refinery split. He will somehow manage to grab 3 harvesters that are all close enough, but still stealth to be able to get value from a Tib Catalyst missile. And, well, those Scorpion tanks do not want to tussle with those avatars. And yes, Bike Rush is just going for the slow flame of these power plants, which, again, killing 2 power plants, it's not a game-winning move, but killing 2 power plants right before you start attacking is enough to send your opponent into low power mode and force them to focus on building other things instead of dealing with your attack in the immediate future. Drops a refinery for the build radius and then uses the harvester in a pro-level move to crush the infantry. Who cares about money when you can kill guys with your harvester? Now Lumos is in a bit of a panic mode. He's got an obelisk in his expansion. He's just dropped a secret shrine to try and get himself some upgrades and also a disruption tower, but that is not going to help him as much as he would like, as a second obelisk goes down and a third as well. Bike Rush targeting the power plant, trying to keep Lumos offline, trying to keep Lumos from coming back in this game with this many avatars and just a funnel for Lumos. Bike Rush clinches the victory. The GG is called, and Lumos will lose game number 2. Bike Rush will even the score up in like a brilliant tactical move, where that wasn't some incredible micro play. That was the exact right move at the exact right time, and taking advantage of the fact that Lumos couldn't just move in with his Scorpion tanks and try and kill Bike Rush. But instead, he saw the opening, he saw the advantage, and he was able to take hold of it. Let's find out who is able to pull ahead in game number 3. Which takes us to Pipeline Problems. As a kid, one of my favorite maps, and of course, one of those maps that the blue Tib is so close that players will often crane first just to be able to get over there a little bit more quickly, and that is exactly what both of these guys are going to be doing in the north. He was up 1-0, but now things are even. This is Lumos. He is Cyan and Nod, and in the south, you already know it, it's the Red Nod, BikeRushOwnz. Evening things up. 1-1 always feels good when you drop that first map, but you're able to bring it back in a commanding way. Very often it is not worth it to open up Crane first in any matchup. Pipeline Problems, it is almost always worth it to open up Crane first. You are almost always going to be at a disadvantage for not opening up Crane first. And look at this. No power plants, 4 refineries for both of these guys. This is just a unique feature about Pipeline Problems. Not something you see very often, not something that's ever really replicated in other maps. I guess Tournament Arena is kind of like this because you got blue Tib and it's relatively close, but nobody crane firsts. some people crane first. Nobody really crane firsts in a pipeline on Tournament Arena. And the power plants are going to be coming after that. Now, it's dual war factory, and you don't have to keep the crane around forever, but it looks like Lumos is going to be keeping the crane around for now. Now, keep in mind, look at this split of locations from Bike Rush versus Lumos. No refinery on the tib field. Instead, dual war factories over on the left side, on the blue side of the map. Refineries now on the main field. Lumos still nothing. If he doesn't sell his MCV, it's quad war factory? Oh my gosh, Lumos sells the crane, sells the MCV. He's going to be going for the tib spike, which will give him a little bit of extra income. But when you've got 4 war factories, you need so much money to be able to produce off of this. Bike Rush spots it at the last possible second. But this gives him the most amount of time in terms of drive time. It's not a lot of time, but Bike Rush is going to have to pull together an incredible defense here in just a couple of seconds. There's going to be a tib silo block for Bike Rush. He's going to be trying to refine some of this Tiberium, but he's not going to get all of it as the bike come in here for the kill on one harvester down. That's full of blue Tiberium. A power plant trying to drop and block some of the path of these guys. And it looks like this harvester is pretty much empty, so Bike Rush got away with that one, but this third one is full, and the fourth one is full as well. So Bike Rush losing out on, I don't know, 5, 6, 7,000 credits worth of blue Tiberium. His opponent able to harvest all of that blue Tiberium is 7,000 credits ahead or so in the income. But keep in mind that blue tib does not last forever, and unless there's an MCV going to be pumping out of one of these war factories in the next couple of seconds, it's going to be worse economy every moment in the future here for Lumos. It's going to be better and better for Bike Rush the longer this game goes on. So can Lumos... Wow, that's a lot of buggies. That's maybe more buggies than he actually needs. He's worried about the rocket squad as the counter, but that's a lot of buggies. Bike's going to be coming in here against the Scorps. And BikeRushOwnz, he just needs to mount some kind of a defense. He needs to get eyes somewhere in this base just so he can tib catalyst it, so he can take out those refineries. And here's the big infantry swell in the middle of the map. The rocket squad's getting a couple of kills on the buggies, and this is exactly what Lumos wanted to protect against. Okay, that's a more healthy ratio of bike to buggy. I like that a little bit better, but it's all the way up to avatars for bike, and I don't know how Lumos is going to be able to cost-effectively break this and then transition away from it. Yeah, you can maybe get a little bit of damage once, but you can't do it more than once, and BikeRushOwnz will stop you. Yeah, I think this is just over for Lumos. He can rebuild his MCV. He can maybe find the perfect angle. He can maybe find the perfect opportunity to get a kill, but with the slower economy, with the longer drive distance, with the worse refinery ratio, it's just all coming up Bike Rush. The fact that he hasn't tib catalysted that refinery is like the only thing going in Lumos' favor. The tech advantage is Bike Rush. The production advantage is Bike Rush. The economy advantage is Bike Rush. I guess Bike Rush has less war factories, but yeah, he can't get eyes on that refinery, otherwise he would catalyst it. And actually, there's actually a perfectly clear path to get vision. But there it is. So he actually catalysts the field to try and get the harvesters, but he didn't realize the harvesters were actually on the other side of that refinery. Lumos has been defeated. No way to get more money. I guess he had the tib spike. But when you got a tib spike and no refineries, I don't think you can win that game. Maybe technically. But Lumos has been defeated. Bike able to pull that together. Dang, I wish that had worked because Lumos had a great start there. 4 war factories? I don't even think I've ever seen something like that. So the fact that Lumos went for that and the fact it didn't work makes me sad. But real quick here. Yeah, that is what we started to see as BikeRushOwnz just going higher and higher, and Lumos starting to drop lower and lower on the actual units tab. But that brief moment where Lumos had been able to kill a lot of the harvesters of Bike Rush and deny that income, that was the one moment where he had maybe a chance, but Bike Rush was already too prepared. He was too far ahead in every other way, and that did not matter. Maybe one refinery on the green field. I don't know, that might have worked. Anyways, that will do it for game number 3. Who takes game number 4? Which takes us to Tournament Rift on the left side as the Cyan Nod Down 1-2. This is Lumos. Is he going to try another all-in? Is he going to go crazy like he did in the last game? Right side is the red nod. This is BikeRushOwnz. All right, BikeRushOwnz gets a rocket squad. Spicy, spicy boy. Not too many engineers, nothing too wild, but 2 engineers, you know. Get an extra tib spike. Get the extra 25 credits a second. Adds up over the course of a couple of minutes. BikeRushOwnz leading the series 2-1, able to defend that wild all-in on pipeline problems. And feeling probably pretty confident. Of course, he is the previous tournament winner, so he is the defending champ from For the Brotherhood number 9. And I'm sure that makes him feel like pretty confident that he can take this semifinal series, but we have seen from Lumos that he has an opportunity to dethrone the king, to dethrone the reigning champ. And I guess I never realized that that Tournament Rift has the no blue at the start, kind of like the Kane's Wrath maps. And that Harvester being added on, so regular economy, regular production from Lumos, everything looking normal. BikeRush, on the other hand, drops his second war factory on the back end. Moves his MCV. Okay. Sometimes what you'll see with players is they take out a scout, they eliminate a scout from their opponent, and then they do whatever will make it look like they're doing something normal, but then they actually like sell their MCVs like 10 seconds later, and they go into something wild. They're trying to fake out their opponent. They're trying to play mind games. They're trying to channel their inner Day 9 and mind game their opponent. That is always a possibility with BikeRushOwnz, but it looks like it will not be happening here. It will not be happening today. And Tournament Rift is definitely one of those maps that, because your green fields are so large and they are so close, it can be easier to get up a game-winning economy from a position of potential, you know, from the other guy going all in. You can stabilize relatively easily because there's lots of cash to be had. I'm very curious with these bikes in the north what BikeRush will be doing with them, because he hasn't gone for like a just straight in attack. He's instead kind of been poking and prodding a little bit at Lumos, and I'm assuming he's waiting for what he perceives is an opening, is an opportunity to swing in here with some bikes to try and stop the ace match from happening, to try and head early into the finals versus one of the shocks, whichever one it will be. Drops the Hand of Nod, so he's expecting this attack, and this is the perfect timing from these bikes. A little bit of split on those missiles from the bikes, but he is going to be able to get one Harvester very easily. No losses, no cost at all. And then a second Harvester is a little bit more difficult to decide which one is the correct one to shoot. In the end, he gets a second Harvester, but he won't get a third. Too little DPS to get that, too many opposing forces. Oh my gosh, he gets dangerously close to getting a third, though. He won't quite be able to get it, not with this attack at this current moment. Scorpion tanks from BikeRush are going to be holding the line in the south. BikeRush is getting that expansion established. Those refineries are very close, and those are the expansion refineries, so those are the ones that kind of matter more as the game goes on and on. Those starting fields dry up. The natural expansion becomes the more important one, and those refineries are too close, and I assume Lumos sees that, sees an opportunity to take advantage of. Nope, it's going to be a third refinery. It's not into the tech up. No ops center, no tech lab, no Tib chemical plant. It's just going to be Scorpion tanks and another Harvester in the north. And the MCV packs up, heading to a third base location in the south. BikeRush, on the other hand, 3 refineries, 3 opportunities for the Tib Catalyst missile there, and he is going to be going super saturation, but there's the ops center into the tech lab, it looks like, for BikeRush, which means it's going to be the tech up on his Scorpion tanks, or potentially just to avatars. He is rocking those war factories in the north, but none in the south, and it could just be straight into avatars, kind of foregoing the tier 1 army that can get so vast, that can become so powerful by sheer numbers, and instead going for the high-tech, more stable army of avatars. But we'll have to see. A couple more seconds for whatever Bike Rush is constructing. We saw the MCV getting dangerously close to that third base for Lumos, which is going to give him a huge economic advantage leading into the next couple of minutes of this game. If he can secure half of that Tiberium, that will give him a huge army to play with. And BikeRushOwnz production has been significantly lower as he's getting ready for that tech lab, and now I assume he's making the transition to avatars from his war factories, which means there is an opportunity potentially for Lumos to swing in and make something happen. There's so many buggies in the south. BikeRushOwnz forced to pull back. Lumos going to be potentially pouncing in the south, and these are where the harvesters that matter for Bike Rush. So Bike Rush pulls back. His entire army heads down south. He starts trying to trade in from the north to the south, rotate his forces down. There's 2 refineries on the front line. Lots of harvesters could be transferred over here for Lumos, and also there's a lot of blue tibbed for someone to grab. Probably 10 or 12,000 credits worth of blue tib. That's a lot of scorpion tanks, a lot of avatars, a lot of bikes or buggies, whatever you want to make. And Bike Rush now sees that this base is vacant. Yeah, there are a couple of harvesters here, a couple of refineries as well. One of them gets catalyst missile, as well as a couple of harvesters going down as well. But Bike Rush now knows exactly what happened. His opponent pulled one over on him, and Lumos has the third field. He has the position of strength, even dropping a couple of hand of nods there just to get the extra unit production that he wants, that he needs. And with that economy already established, with the production facilities already here, it gives Lumos such a strong position. And again, that blue tib, nobody going for the long distance harvest, at least not just yet. Not even Bike Rush, who is known for his long distance blue Tiberium harvesting, who's known for his shenanigans surrounding blue tib. And it's going to be laser capacitors for Bike Rush, kind of like that first game on Tournament Arena where Lumos got the upgrades before his opponent. Bike Rush now has the upgrades before his opponent. And even a disruption tower going to be going down for Lumos, going to be providing a little bit of stealth for his base in the north. 3 harvesters. Nope, just 3 for now for BikeRushOwnz, but the whole rest of his army is coming to this blue tib in the south, which is good because he doesn't have a third field. He's just got his main and his natural expansion. 4 refineries, 1 per harvester, but it's going to allow him to get this blue tib that much more quickly into his bank account and convert all of that wonderful blue Tiberium into cash money to be spent on forces. Lumos going to be pushing forward with a couple of bikes, well, a couple of buggies rather, against these forces of Bike Rush. He can't really take the army, of course, but that's not what he's wanting to do. He's just wanting to buy some time. He's just wanting to push Bike Rush back a touch. In the battle for Tiberium, for Tournament Rift, could be fought in the south, could be fought over the empty blue field, although I guess it's not all that empty. But in the north, continuing to mass more and more infantry, now getting his own ops center, now potentially going up to tier 3, and actually going to be calling in some shadow teams. So I don't know if that was just from the sell-off. Yeah, it looks like that was just from the sell-off of the secret shrine. He's going to be keeping eyes on Bike Rush's forces, even going to be flaming down that tib spike as Bike Rush pulls forward in the north, goes for a little bit of an attack, but immediately realizes, wow, that is a lot of rocket squads. That is a lot of forces that I'm going to have to deal with, and he has got that green field under his control. 3 refineries on the front lines. Sells off the operations center, goes immediately into the tech lab, and that is where he is going to stay. Interestingly enough, the Shadow Team does end up getting spotted, does end up getting sniped, kind of happenstance by those bikes from Bike. The MCV is out front, way out front, potentially dangerously out front, but this will give him the build radius that he needs to start dropping some obelisks to try and swing things into his favor, and it looks like that is the only MCV for Bike. He doesn't have a second MCV just yet. And Lumos, on the other hand, I'm not sure where that tib catalyst missile was, as maybe it was just radar, but Everything seems to be still standing here for these guys. In the north, huge amounts of rockets from both sides, but Lumos has so many infantry. The upgrades pretty much even between these guys. Still no laser capacitors for Lumos, but that is not the biggest deal in this fight. Keep in mind at the blue field, a big army from BikeRush is going to try and go behind enemy lines. It looks like maybe there was a refinery there for BikeRush or something. I'm not sure what he was trying to do. But keep in mind, down here in the south, BikeRush is going to be trying to go behind enemy lines to try and cut off what he can from his opponent. Obelisks and infantry will try and hold the line, but it's constantly being picked to pieces by BikeRush, who's got his shredder turrets working overtime against Lumos' forces, and even the harvesters will be hunted down. At least one of them does go down. The other ones may end up surviving. Oh my gosh, this is so many Scorpion tanks from Lumos. He does have the numbers advantage, and he's also, well, no upgrade advantage. Upgrades are equal between these two forces, but the rear armor is superior for the firepower of Lumos. He wins that battle handily. This is so many dead Scorpion tanks for BikeRushOwnz, and because he has no stealth detection, even the harvesters will be able to escape. The Avatar is going to be slowly marching forward, but the infantry armies of both sides have been wasted. Venom heads forward to try and give some kind of vision to Lumos, but not enough to really do anything as BikeRush moves his MCV, and nothing can take down that MCV at the current moment until all of these Scorpion tanks return to the front line for Lumos, and it is just the potential for Lumos to overwhelm these avatars. Nope, for now, Lumos not pulling in with all of his Scorpion tanks from the south. He's going to be kind of reforming and heading in right to the middle, and this is so many lasers that BikeRush simply doesn't have an answer for. There goes one disruption tower. The other one will be killed very shortly as these avatars get surrounded and zapped to bits by Lumos, driving forward, ever forward, onto the forces of BikeRush. Now going to be going for the power plant and the Hand of Nod as the MCV is surrounded. BikeRush getting flamed down from the Tib, and the GG is called. BikeRush has been defeated. Lumos cleaning things up, making it 2-2, taking us to the ace match in this best of 5 each game. Big armies, fast and furious kind of production, as Lumos has one chance now to dethrone the reigning champ and send himself into the finals. Let's find out what happens in game number 5, which takes us to Tournament Dust Bowl. Lots of poker for these two guys. Lots of Tib Spike poker in the north. As the Cyan Nod, this is Lumos. If you guys wanted variety, this is not the place for it in the south. As the Red Nod, this is BikeRushOwnz. What a back and forth this series has been. Lumos showing us that he is no chump, that he will not be walked over, making things even, the score 2-2. Coming into this, I had never heard of Lumos. I didn't know who Lumos was. I've been casting BikeRush for years. I've been watching BikeRush win tournaments or have deep runs in tournaments for years. And honestly, if I had to put money down, I would have 3-0'd BikeRush against Lumos. But here we are in an ace match. Down to the wire, Lumos overpowering BikeRush in some games, making BikeRush look like a mere mortal, like a fool, as a literal deity, flavorless, if you will. But things are shaping up pretty normal for these guys. Tournament Dust Bowl. So this is not a full-sized Tib field. This is no tournament decision Tib field. But we got 3 refineries because Tib Wars. You got to get that build radius. You got to get that slow creep to your expansion. And it's just a little bit weird placement there from Lumos. But no triple war factory, no 4 war factories or anything like that. And no Tib spikes for either of these guys, so they're going to be foregoing those extra credits. And there's going to be the War Factory for Lumos, the second War Factory, but it's all refineries all day for BikeRush. The focus on economy for BikeRush we have seen across these games, and the focus on more War Factories, more units, which some people would say, more units, more problems for Lumos. One buggy trying to escape the hunting forces of Lumos, as Lumos is going to be looking for some harvester kills in the south. BikeRush is going to be going for the defense, and pure base build over to the right side of the map. Drops a shredder turret, not even a laser turret, but he is going to be able to pull this harvester. This is not a lot of bikes here from Lumos, but there are 2 more on the reinforcement path, and Bike is desperately trying to keep this harvester alive with the constant circling around that war factory. It actually works. He actually saved that harvester. There was 2 extra bikes coming in on the left side of the screen there. I thought for sure Lumos was going to be able to get the kill, and now he's lost all of those forces for virtually nothing. Just down and out in terms of production, losing all of those bikes and not getting the harvester kill that he wanted, that he needed. As BikeRush is now rocking 2 refineries on his natural expansion. Lumos, just the one like a chump, like a loser. Only 1 refinery on the natural expansion. Look at this guy. Ooh, Op Center from BikeRushOwnz as well. So he's going to be going for that tech. And of course, well, it always could be for a mine drop if he wants to go for a sneaky airfield. Drop the mine somewhere over here to try and keep Lumos off of his front door. But it also just could be for laser capacitors for Tier 3. For that tech lab and some dozer blades. For the future tank spam, huge army fight somewhere around these 3rd fields. As BikeRush inevitably is going to have to move his MCV. He's not going to base crawl all the way to a 3rd field. No one would do that. No one would base crawl all the way to a 3rd field. BikeRush trying to get vision. Yeah, he's got the tech lab, but he doesn't have the chemical plant. Bike's going to be coming in here for Lumos, and I missed this beginning of this attack, but it looks like we didn't actually miss very much, as Scorpion Tank's once again going to be shredding the forces of Lumos. He cannot win. BikeRush is playing with a tight ship, and there is going to be a harvester being called in for the vision. Sneaky, sneaky BikeRush trying to determine where is going to be the best place to drop that Tib Catalyst missile. What would be amazing is with a hallucinated harvester, if you could actually... Ooh, gets both of the harvesters there. Nicely done by BikeRush. Is if you could actually steal your opponent's Tib with a hallucinated harvester. Drops the Tiberium seed missile as well, which is always nice to give yourself a little bit of extra income. And BikeRush, he's not gonna walk to this 3rd field, right? BikeRush wouldn't do that, but with his MCV positioned where it is, it actually is like maybe even closer to walk over here. Okay, so he's not. He's going for the safe field. He's going for the field that is his. He's going for his normal third base location. And Lumos is pulling some Scorpion Tanks over there to meet him face-to-face, eye-to-eye, and to look at his Scorpion Tanks with his Scorpion Tanks, because laser capacitors, they give the advantage to BikeRush, which is what Lumos is only just now realizing. Where's the tech? It's here, and I think it's going to be dozer blades. I don't think that's, yeah. The laser capacitor builds a little bit more slowly. It's a little bit more costly, a little bit slower to produce, and this is just overwhelming for BikeRush. Even without upgrades, this is just so many Scorpion Tanks. There's not enough rocket squads here, and they're not even going to be coming fast enough from Lumos. He's going to be able to drop an obelisk, but can he stop the onslaught? Can he stop BikeRush from being able to step forward and kill a bunch of harvesters, as even a Black Hand squad going to be slowly flaming down that tech lab, going to be trying to stop it from producing, and the laser capacitors were never meant to be. They get annihilated here as Lumos has nothing. He calls the GG, and BikeRush rockets into the finals through game number 5, crushing his way through the semis and going straight into the finals best of 7 against a shocking player. Whether it's Trepet or Treatment, I do not know yet. But that will be it. One push from BikeRush at 6 minutes. Just a bunch of Scorpion Tanks with laser capacitors, and that is the unceremonious end to the Lumos tournament run. A big hand to Lumos for pushing BikeRush to the absolute edge, with the exception of that last game where BikeRush was just in control the whole time and Lumos had nothing going for him. But with the exception of that, you got to hand it to Lumos for his great performance in this tournament, his great showing here against BikeRushOwnz in this best of 5. Big shout out to him. And that will do it for this game, for this series. I hope you enjoyed this best of 5. Check out the semifinals on the other side of the bracket, which will be going up. They may already be up if you're not watching this on the day that it comes out. Shock Trumpet versus Shock Treatment is coming up just after this. Thank you all very much for watching, and this is Sybert signing out.